The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, is continuing to put the heat on drug traffickers in Nigeria. The agency has announced the arrest of a businessman at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and another man at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos with over 3 kilograms of cocaine. According to the commander, MMIA command of the NDLEA, Amadu Garba, one of the suspects was intercepted at the departure hall of the Lagos airport with a hard drug neatly concealed in the false bottom of his travel bag. The Abuja suspect was arrested at the departure lounge of the Abuja airport and referred for scanning. He proved positive for ingestion and excretion of 83 wraps of substances, which proved positive for cocaine and weighed 1.527 kilograms. Well, that's just one of the updates that we're receiving in recent time, given the very constant reportage of such arrest in Nigeria. Joining me in the studio now is a youth and anti-drug advocate, Ambassador Sonny Irakpo. Well, thank you for joining us on the news tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
What do you think is responsible for these increased number of cases as regards drug bust in Nigeria?
Well, when we talk about the increase in these cases of drug abuse, there are a lot of predisposing factors. We look at it first and foremost from the perspective of the social pathologies. The social pathologies, we are looking at the materialistic consciousness of Nigerians. They want to get rich. They want to live large. They want to acquire the ostentatious things of life without working. Most of them, they want to get this thing by crook. You understand? So it has increased the kind of drug trafficking that we're experiencing today. But we are letting people to understand that if you toe this line, there are dangers. And the dangers is that it's going to bring shame to you, to your family, and to the nation.
If drug trafficking is on the increase, it tells us that consumption is also on the rise. But let's look at the implication of the culture through music and several other things. It would appear that consumption of these drugs are quite celebrated in a particular quarter.
Yeah, actually you are right. It is celebrated, it is high because ignorance is very, very predominant in the land. You know, when ignorance is in the land, people want to venture into things they know but they did not know actually. So when there is ignorance, people just want to venture into such. They want to get high for youth. They want to belong to a particular class before they can be celebrated. So this has endangered their lives. So, but we want to let every youth to understand that the drug thing, because of the genetic vulnerability, it is not what is good for you cannot be good for me, because our body chemistry is structured differently.
You also want to find out whether we have a structure in this part of the world that, you know, provides succor and a form of healing. For instance, on the streets in major parts of the country, you see many people who are not in their right minds. What do you think can be done differently to ensure that we can provide counseling and healing and treatments for those who have gotten this wrong?
Well, when we talk about the relation, it requires a lot of approach. For some of our experience in the United States, we were schooled, we were trained on how we can go about the 21st century in getting these results in tackling drugs. So the first thing that we should do is we to carry out the psychosocial model. That psychosocial model, it will enable us to unveil the dangers of drug abuse to the average man on the street. And in sociology, there is what we call symbolic interactionism. That has not been effective. You know, is the use of symbols and the use of images to communicate our messages to young people. Because until we communicate the dangers, the effects of these drugs that they are taking, they won't do no, because they feel they should just get high. My friend is doing it. Let me do it without knowing the consequences of what they are going into. So the first thing that we need to do is to school these individuals, is to carry out community-based sensitization programs, awareness creation, so that people can be informed about the dangers of drug abuse. Because we are not just talking about the smokers. What about the secondary smokers? People that you don't smoke directly, but those who smoke, the effect also is on you.
And there's also a major health
for we to carry out this
implication.
sensitization program is what is key.
Who are the stakeholders in this regard, and what do you expect them to begin to do differently?
Every one of us as Nigerians, we are stakeholders. Youths, they are stakeholders. The government, they are stakeholders. Corporate organizations, well-meaning individuals, we are stakeholders. So the right time for we to take decisive steps in addressing this fundamental issue for we to develop Nigeria in the 21st century is what is required. So every one of us needs to come on board. The corporate organization, let them take this responsibility as part of their social responsibility in order for we to address this issue. Because these young people are the people that you will employ tomorrow. Are you going to employ a drug addict? You look at you are very delectable. If you are in drugs, will TVC employ you? They won't employ you, but because they know that that is why you are sitting and you are producing. So every young person have that same capacity, but drug is a distraction. But we are telling them that for Nigerians to be developed, they need you because we are the life wire of this country. We are the trustees of this country. For things to move in the right direction, we need their quota, we need their contribution in order for we to develop Nigeria in the 21st century.
Absolutely. Youth and anti-drug advocate, Ambassador Sani Irakpo, thank you for talking to us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.